y'all, welcome back to my thread quarters. We are back out into my sewing studio and we are gonna do a Quilty WIP parade. Again, a friendly reminder for all WIP parades, say it with me, we don't judge, we listen, okay? So, if you can imagine, sometimes you start quilting projects and then they don't go your way, so they have to go to timeout. Whether it be because what you saw for the fabric coming together is not coming together. Maybe you started something thinking that the technique was going to be easier, and then you get into it and you hate the technique you're working on. This happens a lot, I think, with foundation paper piecing, which is where you are sewing onto paper and then you rip the paper off, which I don't mind it. I have made some pretty big projects using that, but I do know it's a different headspace. My niece Rexanne, her princess quilt was all foundation paper pieced, here's a picture. And those princesses, they just had some attitude some days, and I made that whenever my sewing room was a closet. So there was a lot of frustration. I had some days where I just decided we're gonna take a little break and have a drink, and I just kind of chipped away at it like a block a week. So I think that some of my projects are in kind of this mid phase, and we'll just kind of pull them out and see what the deal is, or if we even want to continue with them. I will tell you, I've inherited some projects from my bunny that I am bound and determined to finish, and two of them are hand quilting projects where not even her aunt pieced them. Her aunt sourced this fabric when she was working as she was making garments for the government that was giving out these garments to families that couldn't afford it. So all the scraps, they would let the women take them home. So I've got some of that in here. I've got two quilt tops, one for me and one for my brother, if he acts right. I don't even know. I'm on the fence if he's worth it or not, but I will finish them by hand. I'm not going to machine quilt them. I just got to figure out how to most efficiently quilt by hand. Anyway, we'll get into that when we get there. So I think this is my oldest project, and this is where my addiction to Tula Pink fabric kind of started. I saw a listing on Etsy 2018 or 19, and it was just scraps of Tula Pink. This is before I was stitching, so I wanted a to-go project. So what I decided to do was these kite shapes, okay? Why? Who? Like, she's a 10, but she's overconfident in her abilities. That's me. That's me. So all of these, here's a stack, and I can kind of show you some because I love the color. Don't get me wrong. The colors are legit. I am a Tula Pink stan. It's a kite shape with some Y seams. Again, this is not a beginner project. Overconfidence at its best. But look how great they look. I'm not mad about that, but these are hand stitched. Why, Jenny? Who is in charge of you? The answer is no one, people. Let me find one with a dark background so you can see. Look at this. So let's see right here. Do you see they're hand stitched? I don't even know where I found this pattern. Somebody should have taken my internet access and thrown it out the window because I spent so much time cutting and ironing these. So I starched the hell out of these so they would have a little more stiffness to work with. I starch everything. I'm a huge fan of starch, and then it just washes out. It's no big deal. So here's my pile. I love this fabric. I would like to get back to it. Again, this is not the color vibe in my house. I live with Mr. Beige, so I don't know what to do with these. I have not made any more, but I do know that they are time to start sewing these triangles together and have a plan. So clearly that's on the to-do list. I just honestly, I knew these were here. I didn't know where they were. But I found a big 31 bag that had several hidden treasures, we'll say, in there. So that'll just, those will come up. One of the treasures in that was this baby quilt that I made for a coworker. And I love it. I don't know how I forgot about this. This is a Ruby Star fabric line. Dog hair is free. With this awesome purple and pink backing. And this is my favorite binding that I think I've ever done. A red on a turquoise with these big fat stitches. Did I think I mailed this to her? What? I'm looking at this, I'm like, why? Why? Because here's one for her baby that just turned 1 yesterday. And then here's one, oh, I see why we didn't get in the mail. Here's one for her son. I was gonna mail them together. So this is one of those Color Me quilts that I like to do that are I Spies. If you see in the crayons, you can see where it's a bunch of different fabric and you're like, hey, I spy something orange. Oh, that's kind of cheating, but like this one, you could say I spy a leopard. So I made this for him and I have stitched the binding on the front. I just need to hand bind that down. What was I doing? See why we needed to start a channel? So we could be like, let's set some goals and finish. This is a new technique on the back. So for this one, I have this kind of vehicle construction work vibe going on. And then I put some big strips of black fabric. And then I'm gonna go in here and just run a thick like pearl cotton hand stitch down. So he can play with his Hot Wheels on a road. And leave his moms alone. Look at this. The pickles return. Check it out. Love that fabric. I spy with my little eye something kosher. So that's that. Let's bump that up on the to-do list like next week. And put a label on Joey's quilt here because it's not been labeled. Jenny, what are you doing? I can't believe, like, these just fell out of my mind. That's embarrassing. This next one that I'm going to show you is a different technique. It's hand sewing. It is called English paper piecing. Another Tulip Pink project that lives in this badass Tulip Pink project bag. Look at that. Look at the front. I love her style. Tulip Bloomers is what this is called. And I have done like one block. So the way that these English paper piecing works is you have a template that is a acrylic usually. I mean, you can use paper or whatever you want. Y'all, this hair. But then you have all these actual like cardstock pieces that give your fabric some structure while you're sewing together, which is sewing the pieces together, which is probably why my kite pieced quilt, like the kite shapes, fell flat, because I probably got frustrated with how flimsy things were, not knowing what I was doing. I mean, I still don't. I still just kind of make things up as I go. But so this paper goes in, and then when you're done stitching, all around, like you're done with all the pieces that are going to live together, you pull this out. Like this doesn't stay in the quilt, but throw stuff on the floor. And I cut my fabric by hand, and then you're gonna glue baste onto the cardstock, and then you'll put things together and sew them in hand with a little kind of whip stitch. It's easy to do, but it is time consuming, and this is something that I would say is very supply based. Like they make supplies that make this easier, and I try to be balling on a budget as much as possible, but for something like this, I think that it's very well advised to just get what's gonna make this easier so you can actually finish it in your lifetime. So here's the first block. It's hard to call these blocks because I'll pop in a picture of what we're talking about so you can kind of see what we're working toward. But here's where we are at with this. And I don't know if you can see, I mean, obviously the solid into the frog fabric, and then the ladybugs into the frog, and then this hexie in the center. Like you can see where those go, but then these are all individual pieces that are hand pieced together. I'll show you the back. I think it's more, maybe helps with logistics a little more. So this, see how this is landlocked? That's what I call it. I just make up things for my memory. But see, this is landlocked. So this is already sewn. All this is sewn together. So I can remove this if I want, because it's not going anywhere. That's its permanent home. I haven't yet because I like how it kind of, it stands up on its own almost right now. And I think that keeping that in there will keep these stitches and the fabric kind of stabilized throughout the decade that I will be working on this. I would like to be in a position where I could say I'm going to knock out a bloomer a month, but this is not one bloomer. So then I've got this, and then there's 3 of these guys, okay? And then they'll come and live like here, here, here to make this quilt. So when you do these 2 together, and I can maybe like film some close-ups, but basically you line these edges up like this. So here's the one side, and here's our little star, okay? And then you just line these up, and then you're just gonna hand stitch along this spine. Again, my word. That's not what it's called. It's a seam. So let's not overcomplicate that, but you're gonna make the smallest stitches possible. So when you fold this over and open, you don't have stitch lines. Okay, so to toot my own horn just a bit, that's pretty stellar. That doesn't even look like my work, honestly, because this is a very new exploration for me. But this is also why we need all the thread colors all the time, because you want to get the closest thread color you have so it blends in as much as possible. So if you're interested, I can like film myself doing this, but I would really like to make some progress on this because this will be so badass when it's done. Look at the picture again. Bink. So that's that. I do have this kitted up right here in front of me, so I just kind of want to share the fabric because in my opinion, of course, the fabric is what motivates the effort you put into it, is because the fabric's so stellar. So this lives in one of my black needle boxes. We got this. This is what our Stars Hollow retreat box came in, and I'm like, I'm gonna repurpose that because it's too cute. So these are Tula Pink's, what she calls her essential solids. So she's a genius, and she has done the work for you as far as sourcing the solids. So these are all going to match her lines in one form or fashion. So when you're looking for something solid, you know it's going to be in here. Like the way that she really puts things together, to me, is unmatched. And especially when you're getting into these wild colors that maybe aren't so traditional, it's kind of stark. And I think for a lot of people, the reaction is when you're looking for a solid, when you got stuff like that that's so wild, is like go white or gray. And she's opposite. She's like, no, we're already here. Let me punch your ticket. We're doing it. So I love that. It really pushes the boundaries. This is mostly all animals. So I've gone in here and divided things by small prints, large prints, and medium prints. And I use that based on the size of the paper piece. Okay, so like if it's that big hexagon, I'm gonna reach toward my large prints because you wanna capture her design as much as possible because that's why you bought the fabric, right? So I went ahead and did some pre-work on that. And so like here's some of the medium prints. I'm not gonna unload all of this today. If you want to see another like deep dive into what I got going on here, we can do that, but I don't know if anyone even cares until it's done because it's all one of those, that's nice plan, but let's see it. So these are the medium prints, and I also have kept them in this this box so I don't end up reaching for them and making something, because this is just delicious. She's so good and really just inspiring to just don't be afraid of color, just do it. So some more of those ladybugs, and you can kind of see where those are coming back into those solid colors that we have. Here's the large prints that I think that are going to be a little more impressive and like going to be able to more readable on camera. So lots of trash cats or whatever they're called. Look at this owl. Like, what are we doing? Tula, you are living on a different planet and I would like to visit. So here's just kind of a flower print and the frog. Come on. Let's see what else. Another owl in here, flower. Oh, look at this. Look at this guy. Are you? Oh dear. Oh dear. He's a handsome fella. So anyway, that's kind of what we're working with in this color explosion we got here. So I love this. I don't know why I don't pull it out more, because when I see this, like, my heart grows a few sizes. That is high priority. Let's play a drinking game. Every time I say something's high priority, take a drink. You're gonna be so hammered by the time this is over. I would say most of my stash comes from Back Order Shop. Their customer service is banging, and since they're close to me, they ship really quickly. They also have cross-stitch supplies and a lot of how-tos on their YouTube channel. So if you don't know how something works, you can just head over there and they'll tell you how it works, which I appreciate very much. So the next thing that I'm pulling out is a mystery. Oh Lord, this one. Okay, so Jack and my parents and I went to New Zealand a few years ago, and I got some fabric there, and then on the way back to the States we stopped in Hawaii for a few days. Awesome trip. We went to Pearl Harbor and everything, like once in a lifetime kind of New Zealand Hawaii combo trip. And we were in Arrowtown, I think. I don't think that shop's even open, but we ran into a stitching and quilting shop across the world. And so was I gonna leave there empty-handed? No, I wasn't. So I asked my dad how much space he had in his luggage, because I knew Jack and I had zero space. Zero. because I packed it, and I am pretty gifted with spatial arrangement, so it was packed to the brim. But my dad he flew there with like an empty backpack as a carry-on that I don't even know what was in there. So he muled some fabric back for me, and it's all wild, it's crazy, it's printed, it is, I didn't know what to do with it, but I wanted to somehow put it all together to commemorate the trip. So I did this scrappy quilt. I hate it. It makes me literally nauseous when I look at it. That's why it's in this plastic bin. And I'll show you. And maybe you won't throw up when you look at it. I worked so hard on this, trying to like, it's gonna come together. It's gonna come together at the end. And it's got some solid, like some cream colored fabric. It's just so wild. I just need to, my mom likes it, so I just need to quilt it and give it to her. So I don't remember what this star is called. And then I just did piano key border on it, because I mean, look at all the fabric. It's freaking wild. And then this is like a different texture too. So this is made out of like Hawaiian shirt material, which, y'all, I'm a quilter. Give me the 100% cotton. Thank you. But like, look at this Santa surfing. I mean, come on. So, I don't know. I want to do something with it because obviously there's a lot of work that went into it. I even pressed these seams open. Looking at this, I need to do something with it. So I'm going to quilt it and give it to my parents. I learned something about myself when I made this quilt top. It was, the lesson I learned really wasn't a lesson. It was more of a characteristic more than anything. I learned that I like scrappy as long as they match. This is scrappy to the next level. They don't match, and it gives me anxiety. So we'll quilt that this year, okay? High five. Let's go. All right, go. This next one is a t-shirt quilt, a memory quilt that has all my college meat judging, meat science stuff on it. I didn't make it. My bunny had it made from a local person in my hometown. And this is when I probably started quilting, because I saw this and I was like, I think I can figure that out. A, and then B, when I got it back, I'm not thrilled with the fabric I chose. Not the maker's problem at all. I chose this fabric. Just kind of on like a rush to get it done. So she had a spot and Bunny was like, yeah, we need to get some sashing fabric and then she'll get it done. She's got a spot. So here's where we landed. As a note, I have a master's in meat science. It's really animal science with a concentration in red meat, not poultry, not fish. So look at this border. It was a lot of color. But like, these are some of my memories that cannot be, you know, dismissed. So actually this shirt I designed as part of our student organization. It says ASU Beefy Bod multivitamin. That's funny. Also, this guy here has been through some, I kind of drew him up too. I'm not a artist in a sketching manner, but I was like the t-shirt chair of our organization. This used to be like some kind of gray color and it's been through hell and back, so I tie-dyed it. This oh yeah, fighting anemia one steak at a time. That's funny. This is a taste map of your tongue. It's a joke. It really doesn't work like this, but you probably know that. So, go Rams. Look at him. He's jacked. Doesn't that make you want to just go get a steak and throw it on the grill? So anyway, looking at this, I am gonna quilt it. I may pull the border off like this wild ass situation over here. I may pull that off and then just keep this normal like 2.5 inch sashing, or I may replace it. This is a good size, like, see, we're not even showing it. So I don't know that it needs the border, especially like just to sorry, I'm getting caught up with some of these. There's the back of that shirt, my multivitamin shirt. Go Rams. Neat is neat. That sounds like something I said too. Let's just get this quilted. It's not that I forgot about this. I even have backing for this. I just get my commission line going and then I forget that I have stuff too. That's what's going on with that. So 2025 is our year, guys. We're gonna do it. Okay, so this other thing that I have a couple of boxes that I inherited. Bunny Love lands in. Okay, so this says, I do try to like tag things. This says 20 blocks from Bunny. So like I said in my last video, Bunny was a quilter, sewer extreme. She was a maker of all kinds. So this is 20 blocks in here that are just waiting to be put together and become a quilt. She just didn't get to it. She put it in timeout, actually. I knew this was there. She said, oh, I just can't look at that. I just can't look at that right now. We've been there. So looking at these blocks is really cool because, let's see if I can find one. I think I had a dress made out of this fabric here. She used to make me and my cousin and my brother clothes. I don't know if John got too many, but the girls definitely got dresses. Also, this like little blender fabric is in the quilt that's in there on our guest bed. So I know we had bandana clothes out the yin yang all the time for the rodeo, 4th of July. I remember a shirt like this out of this Holstein situation. But we couldn't just let these not get put together. I don't know that I'll do this year, but just because I have other things in front of this, but I did want to share it because it's really cool that this ended up with me. Look at this. I mean, we got it all in here. You got some neon cats. We got it. Is that what you're here for today? The cats come back. And I have 2 quilts that she made me. These greens are in my first quilt that she made me. This is interesting. This is, she had like a jumper kind of thing. I don't even know what you call this fabric, but it is not quilting cotton. So that one's unique. So she was a child of the Great Depression, so she wasn't wasting any. I love this. This is next level. Oh, I mean, there's so many options. So when we do a studio tour of my space and you see me keeping all these little crumb scraps, this is why. So we've got it all here. Look at that. These little blocks here in this 4 patch probably, nope, they are for sure 2.5 inch, 2.25 maybe. I had a vest made out of this. I'm so glad vests are coming back. I like this block too. I don't remember what it's called, but that's in there. God bless Texas with his own hands. Am I right? Look at that. Okay, I don't know what this one's called, but check out the angle on this block. Look at this. That's fun. Little geese action there. Denim printed on cotton. Because the 90s were a wild time to be alive. So. Oh, I love, this is the last one. I love seeing this little angel in there. I was at the bottom of the stack. What a good, Hi, Bunny. Now we've got another lands in mystery box that says scraps and patterns from Bunny. Let's see what. This is how all quilts start. Typewriter action here. Okay. So this is actually like the, oh man, this is where I get it. She's so organized. She says, so the first block says Golden Gate, January. It was a block of the month. People, man, Bunny was so cool. She says, done. Okay, so she wrote done and then red. I bet I can go through here and see, like, this was January, and figure out how far she got here, because this fabric looks the same as that first box. She's also written in her corrections to this pattern. That sounds like her. Well, this will be an adventure on its own. Again, I'll get to this quilt. It's in the plans. It's just not in the right now plans. But in the plans, nonetheless, we're gonna do it. I'll bring you along if you're interested. I bet my dad can look at this fabric and recognize some shirts or welding hats that he had out of that fabric. But this is a quilt that, it was a quilt top, and she was given to her by her aunt. And this is all fabric scraps from the 20s, if not earlier. Throw the thread in the floor. So here's the first one. Here it is. It's kind of hard to picture here. We're limited to with what we can do vertically. So I started doing this hand quilting there. Well, that's not a good place to show you. This is a beast. This is okay at best. But like I said, I don't think I've got the right fabric. Like, this is cotton. This is a Moda grunge dot. I wish you could feel this. This is not a loose, like a normal cotton, quilting cotton. Okay. So this is in the plans too. I got to find a different backing, but I'm gonna have to go to the store so I can fill things, because I ordered this online thinking I knew exactly what I was getting, and I did not. Not a big deal. I mean, I'll use this. I'll probably use this on Kate's quilt on the back, because that matches and it's cool. So anyway, that's the first one, and so I got to figure that out. And then here's the second one, which she gave me this 9 patch, but this one she was sitting on. It was like she was going to test me with that first one, and if I passed the test, she was going to give me this star one. So this is just the top. I haven't basted it together or anything, but check out these stars. What are we even doing here? This is all hand pieced. Okay, it's all hand pieced. This is all fabric from the 20s, if not older. Look at these. We waste so many things in our society. We're too comfortable. They saved every scrap they could, and to stretch it, I mean, so cool. 25 different fabrics in just the inset star. And so then the background of the star is another one. So, I mean, this is just insane. I know you're probably like, golly, why don't you marry it? But like, look at, I can't even. So there's a lot of pinks in here, but it doesn't even bother me, because that's really a piece of art, and you don't see stuff like that anymore. So we're gonna try to rescue it. It's not in danger or anything. It just needs to be finished. So that's what I have as far as what I would call WIPs. Oh, and this quilt, this block. There's my ladies again. Maybe that'll be Kate's pillow for her, matches her cactus quilt. I'll have to ask her if she likes that. All these are my personal projects. So I'm gonna have to intertwine them this year with my commissions that I already have committed to. So it'll be an adventure. If there's one of these that you're like, just finish it, or if you'd like to cast your vote to get one to the top of the list, please comment below and maybe it'll motivate some activity on that project. Until next time, go make something cool. Bye.